Live from St. James Park, home of the Newcastle United. Welcome to.
Ah, God.
It's gonna be a great episode. Welcome to episode 3 of Footheads podcast. Mike Fear Clips here again with the Domainist, who I think
Okay.
is in a bit of a state today.
I was so mad. So mad.
And the worst part is, if you guys go back and watch last week's episode, it was last week. Yeah, it was last week that we were
Yeah,
talking about
yeah.
how the Chelsea Newcastle game will be interesting for the sheer fact that Chelsea has a hard time winning, which they proved again today that
They hadn't beat us at St. James's Park since 2011.
so 7-8 years, and to
Yeah.
be fair, they had to fight for it today. So I was like, you know what? I threw this up as the background for today's video. I was like, this will be interesting. I almost changed it to uh
Stamford Bridge.
I almost changed it to Stamford Bridge.
Oh my God.
Actually, no, I was torn between Stamford Bridge and who was it? I was torn between Stamford Bridge or Arsenal or Liverpool, one of the two. I couldn't decide. But
I've also got a. Remember a couple of weeks ago we did the thing where I had to try and make you guess who the footballer was based off the questions. Again, based off a player who's had a good performance this weekend or been a talking point of this weekend.
uh
I've got another little
great.
challenge for you at the
I,
end of the
I, I,
podcast.
I was gonna look one up for you, and I completely spaced.
And let's say if the guys who are watching can guess who it is before the clips over here. Be interesting to see.
Yeah. All right. So we'll start off, which I think we would both agree the most not controversial. It was definitely one of the more controversial games, but definitely the biggest upset of the weekend: Wolves Man City.
Yeah. Uh,
I'm so happy with that result. Like just to see, considering we both pegged them as the team to be the undercards or the underdogs. Undercards. I'm still thinking of the KSI fight. The underdogs for the season. Like I'm impressed with how they're playing, especially tying 1-1 with a team who is supposed to clean sweep the season again.
yeah. And the guy who scores the goal for Wolves to take the lead is a guy who I thought was absolutely awful in their first game. Um, who did Wolves play first? I think it was Everton that played first. But that
Yeah.
bully, he looked like non-league standard to me. It was terrible. And then, of course, he comes at the yesterday and gets the goal.
Yeah.
So
I mean, again, early on in the game, very poor giveaway from Company almost makes it 1-0 for Wolves right then and there.
yeah,
Which I think had that actually stood, obviously it was offsides. It was a good call by the ref at the time. Um, it would have changed the complexion of the game completely.
yeah,
But at the same time, Man City were, I don't want to say they played bad, but I've never seen them that unlucky. Aguero hit what, 2 or 3 posts. Sterling hit a post. Um, and then everything else that happened. It's just I'm very impressed to see that because obviously with Aguero hitting the post, Sterling hitting the post, Aguero then in the 90th minute, which would have been the winner, hits the crossbar. I'm happy to see because obviously as a team you're going to get more and more frustrated as that goes on. So
yeah.
I'm glad to see the Wolves actually held in there and made it a very interesting matchup.
And to get a result against a team like Man City, you're gonna need that to go for you. You're gonna need your team to have like as good a game as you can have,
Yeah,
and
you
the
can't
opposition have an
afford.
off day.
And
Um,
I'll definitely agree. Man City had an off day.
but
Like the actual goal itself, like it could have been 1-0 earlier on too. Costa 1-on-1 has a I don't want to say a clear cut opportunity to cross, to the other side of the box for an open net, but had he done that, who knows, So they could have
yeah,
taken a lead even earlier than they actually did.
like I don't think Man City have anything to be worried about. I think they'll still be one of
No,
the two teams that win the league this season.
yeah,
Um,
it's honestly like I think what did surprise me was um, Stones being left out. Whether that's an injury, I'm not sure
Stones is a
of.
player
Whether
I don't personally rate. but he's been playing well in the
He's
Guardiola. He's made
yeah,
a lot of
he's
progress.
yeah, and he's been for the most part this season. I mean, granted, have they really been tested enough to where you can say that he's been playing well? Probably not. But
No,
I think he's been, he's a player for me that I would want there week in and week out. But at the same time, so is Laporte. At the same time, so is Company. You're not going to play at three at the back, especially with the likes of Mendy, who, as you can see, almost scored the game winner
the
again.
the problem with Man City is they've got so many good options in midfield as well. It's tough to know what sort of system is best for them to play. Now, I know they've been playing the sort of, if I'm right, sort of a 4-3-3 sort of system. Could they play a 3-5-2 and play like Aguero and Jesus up front?
Yeah, something
but
like
then
that.
does that limit you in midfield as terms of the options you can play?
Well, then, where would you? So 3-5-2. Obviously, you're back three, and it's just the middle where it's questionable. So obviously,
and then
you want to
again, they've
get.
got so many good wingers.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you play 3-5-2, you'd think you'd play Mendy as a wing back and Kyle Walker as a wing back, and then you've got Sterling, Sane, Mahrez, Bernardo Silva.
Yeah, then you're left with.
It's a nice problem to have.
Yeah, it definitely is, but I could see why Guardiola is trying to avoid that as far as like needing to do that.
Man City are lacking is a sort of a plan B. If you look at all their sort of strikers, they're very much all a much of a muchness, very small, technical, quick players.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't got that like Ender's Echo from a couple of years ago, where they could like, if a team's just being like absolutely resolute in defense, just bring him on and use him as a focal point. And I think that could cost City some games this season.
Yeah, I mean, even like on like in swinging balls, corner stuff like that, just someone to get up because Aguero and Jesus aren't the tallest in the world.
No.
So I mean, yeah, you have your likes of Laporte, you have, your defenders, but just that's more of corner kicks and set pieces. You want to look for someone like you said, like a Dzeko, who's going to be, dead center of your attack, and build off him. But
yeah,
I mean, the actual goal, again, it's one of those things that like, if there were VAR in England, would there be enough to get it called back? Because obviously, the way it works, at least with the World Cup, it had to have been. I believe they didn't use it fully; they just used it if there was like enough suspicion.
Yeah, I think that's what the case was. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I mean, it was a good, well worked goal, but I think obviously if there's VAR, it gets turned over, which unfortunate, but they got lucky. There isn't VAR this season.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Like, I think, yeah, everyone gets a bit of luck and everyone gets a bit of luck against them through the season. I think it just sort of balances out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like today, they had, or yesterday rather, Man City hit 3-4 posts. They had shots that they should have taken, opportunities that they squandered, and they ended up with a 1-1 draw. Down the line, they could be playing someone like a, Burnley or a Bournemouth, whatever, and same thing could happen to Wolves. So it'll be interesting to see like how that comes back. And then obviously, the Man City equalizer, Laporte completely unmarked. Like, I'm watching it back, completely unmarked. He's just standing on the edge of the box, and he runs in. It was too easy. Which you hate to see, just because, when it comes to these kind of games and these kind of matchups, you want to see, you'd like to see like upsets here and there, especially with a team like this that have definitely impressed me throughout the season so far in the 3 games we've had.
Yeah.
Mendy doing what Mendy has done literally all season.
Like
point blank. Like,
what a player.
Yeah,
I never really seen him play when he was at Monaco. You can see now why Man City spent the money he did
to get him. Yeah. Like,
it reminds me, he's almost like a combination of Yaya Toure and Dani Alves in their peak.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, I could see that. He
He's
has
got the
that.
power and pace of Toure, and he's got the attack and flair of Dani Alves.
Yeah, but when you need him, he's a solid defender at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, point blank. I mean, Rui Patricio, to be fair to him, almost gets 5-hold, to use a hockey term, but great save.
Yeah.
And then Aguero, 90, second, 93rd, whatever it was, dings one off the upright, and like I'm watching it back, just the slightest bit of dip it needed more, like another inch. That's dropping in, but I mean, all in all, I say a solid game.
Yeah. On a FIFA point, how has Mendy only got 82 pace on FIFA?
Yeah, that's honestly, I was actually, I'm glad you brought that up because I was just gonna say that before you did the comparison with Yaya Toure. I cannot wait to try to use his card. I think based off what we're seeing, just based off what we're seeing, I expect a lot of inform from him this year.
His team of the season.
Oh, my God, he's definitely gonna be an interesting player to use.
His Festival of Foot card, I think it was, from the World Cup. Like, that card is incredible.
Yeah, and I mean he's just showing that he's gonna. There'll be some type of conspiracy going around if he doesn't get a few informs by Christmas.
Yeah.
Especially with, but see, again, that's the problem. Like, it's unfortunate that like the game's not out, so like anything he does get, if he even does, it's relatively pointless at this point because FIFA's not officially out. But like, you hate to see players start as hot as he has, and then when the actual game comes out, people like us who are obviously fans of the sport, but stuff like that affects in game, especially when you're doing a Road to Glory or something. It's just gonna suck to see if his momentum kind of dwindles and like he kind of like cools off a bit.
Like, the frustrating thing is when the season starts before FIFA comes out, you get situations where it's like, I think it was last year, FIFA going from FIFA 17 to FIFA 18, there was like a team of the season, not teams, a team of the week, Romelu Lukaku, and the last team of the week. Like, it's such a waste. Like,
yeah. And then beginning of the season, he started okay, but nothing. Like, I don't think.
If you've got a player that you know is going to be a one to watch and he gets an inform, you're going to be a bit annoyed as well.
Yeah, of course.
Moving on now.
Yes, Southampton, Leicester. I didn't watch. The one thing I did, I watched the highlights like previously, right before we went live. The one thing I will say is with I don't want to like say Leicester's entire attack revolves around Vardy, but
Leicester's entire attack revolves around Vardy.
Yes, like they showed that lack of a
Mahrez.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, you lost Mahrez, which is hard enough for a team like Leicester, unfortunately, and then you lose your star striker, and now you're like, well, we got Iheanacho.
I didn't like what happened to Iheanacho. Like, when he signed for Leicester, I was like, wow, what a signing! Holy crap!
Yeah, because
he was doing really well at Man City.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, 25 mil or whatever I think it was that paid for him. That's a bargain. The potential this lad's got.
Yeah, and then
he's just not done it. Is that down to like lack of playing time? The same problems he was having at Man City. Like, he's not going to get ahead of Vardy.
That's not completely out of the question. Is it down to Is it down to not having your Sanes to pass you the ball, or again possibly like? I mean, it's for what the actual game was, it was okay. The one thing I will say, who was it that scored? Bertrand's goal, gorgeous.
Oh, absolute banger!
Like, possible goal of the weekend.
I'd agree with that.
Like, unless Lukaku bangs one from 45 out tomorrow, which isn't gonna happen. But beautiful goal. And then Who was it? It was Gray's goal was shortly after. It was
Good player.
yeah,
Really good player.
like it was basically a 2-on-1, and he split the defenders and slided it home, which it's not the flashiest goal, but at that point, who cares? You're down a goal. You just want to. Yeah, he did what he needed to do. The penalty call that wasn't a penalty that turned into a red card. Where do you stand on that? If you've seen the play. Because what I will, like, I'm watching it back right now. What I will agree, there was contact with the defender, but then he doesn't go down until 2 steps later.
I think it's a thing, like, and I think it's a problem with penalties, the way they're officiated at the minute. If you don't go down, you're not going to get a pen.
But then if you try to do that thing where you stumble and you don't go down right away, you're looked at as diving.
Yeah. Well, it was a thing, you know, we had it a couple of seasons ago. It was Matt Jarvis playing for West Ham.
Mm-hmm.
He was getting fouled left, right, and centre going into the box. It was the last minute of the game. West Ham were drawn 1-1. And if he went down, he would have got a penalty. He didn't, and it ended 1-1. And, like...
It's one of those things where, like, you hate to see players dive. But at the same time, like...
It's annoying to see it done against you, but you love it when it happens for you.
Yeah, it's just one of those situations where you don't want to applaud it, but at the same time, when it happens... I mean, yeah, like I said, it's one of those things for me where, like, maybe live, obviously, you know, the ref doesn't have that. Because of the lack of VAR, he doesn't really have that ability to go back and watch it. It's whatever he sees in real time at full speed with, you know, all the other factors. But I think it was a good call. You know, it's unfortunate that it was a red because obviously it's only a yellow card offense for simulation, but he was already on a yellow. So you hate to see that, but that's just...
Like, a question I'd have for Leicester...
Mm-hmm.
And I think Claude Puel is on thin ice. I could see him being gone very soon.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he could potentially be first man just sacked. And both of us would be wrong about Mourinho and Warnock.
Yeah.
You've brought in Ricardo Pereira, who was a very good right back, played in Europe for FC Porto, played for Nice as well. And you're playing him out of position at right wing. And you're playing Daniel Amati at right back. And you've also just signed Gezal, who's been doing well for the last couple of seasons in the French league as well. What? Why? I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, surely you play the players you've got in your best positions. Like,
yeah, it's not like with you, like, whereas with you guys, you were saying earlier, like the first episode, you said, you know, instead of talking about your transfers, you said how many people you had in each position. So it's not like, you know, you have one left back. So it's not like, you know, it's not like a situation where they're strapped for these players. They have them in abundance, maybe not abundance, but you get my point.
Yeah.
So it's just it's interesting.
Like, you're playing a right back at right wing, and you're playing a CDM at right back, and you've got a right wing on the bench. Like,
does that like then you just have to think, does that come down to like lack of faith in your winger to where you need to move, like, I don't know.
If there's lack of faith, though, why do you just spend like 30 million on the bloke?
That's what I'm saying. Football's weird, man.
But Southampton, another loss.
Yeah.
Continue to struggle.
It'll be interesting to see next week who do they have? Where is it? Who do they have next week? Brighton and Crystal. So their next. Okay, I'm sorry.
They're tough games.
It's Brighton for the League Cup. Then Crystal Palace, which they've been relatively impressive for the season so far.
Yeah, they're difficult fixtures.
So that's not even like it's getting to that point. If, you know, this was the second week, you know, if this was last week, you're like, oh, you know, we'll see what happens. But Crystal Palace are on a bit of a roll, so
That's the
definitely
thing. You
have.
see them fixtures before the season starts, like, oh, we'll get a 3 points there, free.
Yeah, but now,
Then you see it's like, oh god, that's a tough game. Oh
mhm,
god, that's a tough game as
especially
well.
because the momentum they have coming into that week, and then
Yeah.
so you play Brighton what, twice in a week, twice actually no, every, yeah. So the first, then the next game, a few weeks later because you have that break. You got Brighton.
Oh, the loved international break.
I honestly think that break could probably suit them, especially if they get a result against Crystal Palace.
That's the thing. If you're on a run of form, you don't want a break. If you
No, yeah,
losing
definitely.
every game, then you want like, God, let's just have this break. Let's sort of reconcile and
Yeah,
see what we
like
can do.
realize, like, let's see what's gonna happen. Like, relax, chill out, and then right after that break, they have Brighton, which is a good thing. But then you get Liverpool the next week. Not even the next week.
Brighton have just
Five
beat
days
Manchester
later.
United recently.
Yeah. So again, it's one of those things where before the season you're like, oh, this will be easy, but then not so much.
Yeah.
Arsenal finally,
Won a game.
and I wouldn't say they did
What?
it in the most outstanding fashion. They weren't the most, First off, I need to say this: Arnautovic's goal, gorgeous.
Why is he at West Ham? Why is he still at West Ham?
Why or how is he still at West Ham?
I don't get it. I really don't.
I mean, well, we said it last week that, depending on how they do this season, he might not be there.
Yeah.
Like, it could be one of those situations where come Christmas, if West Ham continue on the form that they're on, he might, pull the ripcord and get scooped up.
And it's like, I heard a lot of pundits saying after the game, oh, West Ham, they played really well though, but they lost. It's like,
well, to be fair to them, they were playing well up until, I'd say, through halftime, and then they kind of just collapsed.
You can play as well as you want if you don't win the game.
Oh, of course,
it
yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah. The one thing I will say that I took from this game, and a lot of people, even the commentator at the time said it during the game, Mkhitaryan has been lackluster since coming over. You could say that he's been lackluster since coming over from Bundesliga. Like, ever since he got signed by Man
I'd say
U.
he had a good half a season when he went to Arsenal.
Yeah, but before that, even he was missing something. I will say, the one constant I could take away from this Arsenal game was the combination of Mkhitaryan and Bellerin was outstanding.
I thought Bellerin had a poor game.
See, that's the same thing that the commentators were saying, that he was having a poor game. I thought because they're both, defensive wise, he was a little lacking. But as far as on the attack, I mean, he plays more of a wing back, I guess.
Yeah.
But, they're both very pacey players, and they're relatively technically gifted, I guess, considering one's a right back. But yeah. I thought them two together, I thought was a very solid combination. You have Bellerin making a run, lays it off to Mkhitaryan, who makes a bit of a run himself. Meanwhile, Bellerin's blazing down the right side of the pitch. He's past, 2 or 3 defenders, put it over the top. Mkhitaryan then cuts into the middle, and just all different combinations of that. I thought it was very impressive. Honestly, I think without them two clicking as well as they did, I don't see them taking the result, at least not 3-1. But on the same point, it should have been 5-1 if Aubameyang, if and when he finally wakes up.
I don't know what to think of Unai Emery. I know he's very much a manager that's always stuck to his 4-3-3 system.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, you've got 2 of the best strikers in Europe at your disposal. You've got to try and get them into the team together.
Now, we've been giving him a pass up until this point, but we're almost a month into the season. When do we stop? He's still new. And when do we start? What is he doing? That thought has to be coming up, at least definitely in the minds of Arsenal fans.
I'd say that Arsenal fans have got to be patient. Obviously, they've been under the same manager, the same regime for such a long time. It's gonna be a big change, a big shock to the system. He's gonna want to change everything, change the academy, change the full way the club's ran in terms of training and everything. So it's going to take a time.
Mhm.
I'd say you need to give him the season, but I'd still say that even if you're giving him the season, he still needs to be questioned on some things.
Yeah, like just
obviously
because. Go ahead.
he brought in Kylian Mbappe at Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah.
Mbappe was a striker when he brought him from Monaco and changed him to a right winger, and he looks even better as a right winger.
You think?
And it's like, I think that he needs to do something with Aubameyang and Lacazette.
Yeah, like I know I said it last week. I personally think, try to get something to where you have both of them in the formation. And especially, they were saying something about Colchone's timetable for return just got fast tracked like a month or something. Like he's already training with the team, or at least small little drills here and there just to get back into the flow a bit.
Is he rushing him back though?
I hope not. That's like I love Colchone. I think he's a solid player. I love him on FIFA. And I just think he's a cool guy. I hate to see a player get rushed back just to reactivate
I don't even think
the injury.
It's necessary for him to be rushed back.
No, it's not.
Socrates and Mustafi are doing it okay.
Yeah.
I'd say Mustafi's been poor for about a season now.
Yeah, but I mean, for the most part, after that one goal, after the Arnautovic goal, they were relatively, set defensively. So there was the own goal, whatever. Like their offense still could use a little bit of clicking, I guess you could say, but defensively they seemed okay. So I just don't want him to rush him back to where Colchone then gets re-injured the next game, or a few weeks later down the line. It's something that it would really suck, and you would just hate to see, especially because he's so eager to get back into the team.
Yeah, and he's had injuries problems for the last couple of seasons now, so he needs to be careful. He's not the youngest.
Yeah, he's not
defender in the world.
Exactly. So, but again, like the actual Arsenal goal itself, Mkhitaryan passes off to Bellerin, who I'm sure he's happy with the result, or with the end result at least, but he probably didn't mean to put that as close to the keeper as he did. And then Monreal just tees it up, which solid goal. There was this one play that I'm watching right now that I remember a little bit after that goal, where it was a bit of a scramble at the back for Arsenal defensively. Luckily for Petr Cech, he got the shot right at him, so he just collapsed onto it. But that's one of those things, had that been a different team, had that been your Chelsea's or your Man City's or your Man U's, whatever, you're getting punished there.
Yeah.
Like, not to take anything away from West Ham, they easily could have done it as well, but, you're not going to get those kind of opportunities week in and week out where they have that one-on-one with the keeper and they just miss, or they give it right to your keeper. So they definitely need to shore that up a bit. I think when they brought on... See, it was actually interesting because what we said last week or 2 weeks ago, we said that if they were to play a 2 with Aubameyang and Lacazette, Lacazette would end up being the winger.
Yeah.
But I think Aubameyang actually got sent out to the side with Lacazette centralized, which was interesting to see. I need to see what these two can do.
The thing is to see it, I think Arsenal are lacking some creativity at the minute, which is something you definitely don't attribute with Arsenal.
Yeah.
But their main number 10, I don't know what's happening as well.
Yeah, ever since that whole retirement thing, that whole thing that was surrounding him, he just hasn't been the same. Which you hate to see, especially a player like Ozil. He's one of my favorite players in the league.
He just doesn't look like he's enjoying playing football at the minute.
Yeah, he always looks miserable.
Maybe he needs to move away from Arsenal, and get a new challenge, maybe something like that.
Yeah. Can you actually see him anywhere else in England though, or we talking
Uh,
move somewhere in Europe?
like, where else would he go to in England?
I can't picture him anywhere else. The only thing I could think of is maybe Sanchez persuades him to come to Man U, but why?
But then,
What's the point? Like you have we talk about Man City's depth as far as midfielders go. Man U is in the exact same conversation. Like you have player like Fellaini, yeah, maybe he's not starting for you, but a player of his caliber, he could be starting in a lot of teams, especially in England. So
like,
the fact that they have
I
him
could
coming
see
off the bench, I don't know.
I could see I could say Ozil going to Man U if Pogba leaves.
Yeah.
Sorry, should I say when Pogba leaves?
I could definitely see that, but at the same time, where as far as like the same type of player, would you rate Fred in that same kind of category as Pogba?
No.
Would you rate Özil in the same kind of category as Pogba?
No.
So then, you get what I'm trying to say? Like,
Yeah, but
what's the because like if you were to say Fred is that type of player, great. So then you slide Fred into that kind of centralized position, but then then you have Ozil somewhere on the wing or something or on the side. But you really don't have like a direct replacement as far as
but who are you going to find in world football at the minute that could replace Pogba?
true, completely true.
You know,
Like I said, the only reason I could see someone like Ozil going to Man U would be with some persuasion from Sanchez, but at the same time, from the first game, Sanchez, I don't know what's going on with him either. He just didn't look happy at all that entire game.
like saying that though, for Ozil's confidence, is he really going to want to go and get managed by Jose Mourinho?
Yeah, especially with all that, that's just something like, he's already in the state, you could say mentally that he's in. Like, do you really want to go and surround yourself with all that drama that is going on in Manchester? Probably not. But yeah, like, I just really, not even from like a fan of like Arsenal in any way, just a fan of football. I Lacazette and Aubameyang together as a dual striker setup. Oh my god, the thought of that.
Like we play Ultimate Team. We want some informs for these boys. Like I want a team this season, Arsenal Aubameyang. Arsenal get some work done. It needs to happen.
The thought of that just, I can't wait. Oh my god, I cannot wait. And then, yeah, like I said, and then Lukaku comes in, takes one off the chest, spins, and kicks it off the defender's face for the third goal, which very Arsenal, if you ask me. Like, I love Lacazette. I've loved him since he came over. I liked him, before when he was on Lyon. I think he's a great striker, but he's not a striker that should be coming off the bench. Not when you paid, what did we say, 70 million for him last season?
It's painful seeing one of them on the bench at any one time. Like it's like what, like it's just so dumb.
Like, come to Inter, please, or go to Newcastle. You will
Newcastle.
You will never see the bench, ever.
No.
Like,
I think if Mike actually ever accidentally sanctioned a transfer for Aubameyang or Lacazette, he'd have a heart attack.
Like, you have to think about it. Like, no other. It's not like they're a Real Madrid or a Barcelona where you have these players like Suarez, like Bale, like Messi, like I wanted to say Ronaldo. Almost cried a little bit there.
Kappa.
Yeah, Kappa. You don't have those type of players on your team. Why are you not starting them together? They are, without a shadow of a doubt, your only striking options and your best bet to win games. But again,
yeah, exactly.
It comes down to, Emre, he's maybe stuck in that 4-3-3 mentality, or it's almost like to a fault, like he wants it to work, like he needs it to work.
Is this a failing of the Arsenal board as well, though, to not bringing a manager who's going to try and play both of them together.
Mm-hmm. Like, you know, when you bring in someone like him and you see what he's done with PSG, you need to know that he's more than likely going to stick with what he's been working with, which is a 4-3-3. And yeah, Arsenal have the players for that, but they're not going to work the way they should.
Because, like, if I was a manager going to Arsenal and saying, like, I've got Aubameyang, Lacazette, I've got Mkhitaryan, I've got all these players, and say, I need to find a way to get them into the team, not be in a rigid system.
Mm-hmm.
Like, trying square pegs round holes sort of thing. So,
yeah, like,
he needs to get sorted out.
Like, as far as, you know, the back, if I were him, my starting 11 would probably be, first off, Leno. He needs to start getting into the team. Not that Czech's been bad in a way, but, you know, me personally...
Leno's like, he's just better.
Yeah. He's younger.
Czech's had his day. He was, like, a top-class keeper in his day. He was the best goalkeeper in the league. But that day is gone.
So, yeah, I would probably have Leno. I would probably Bellerin, Monreal, Socrates, and if we're talking, if I had the option, Kolshoni, obviously, working with what I have, Mustafi. I would probably...
Being funny, why are Arsenal still using Nacho Monreal?
Who would you put in place of him?
I would have bought someone. Like,
at
the end of the day, who is their other left back? They've only got one left back, haven't they?
Yeah, Monreal.
Yeah. Like, it's so dumb. I just don't understand Arsenal's policy.
Well, they go out and spend millions upon millions on players that they're not going to use, obviously.
Yeah. Like, why not go big and say, right, you know what, we're going to make a statement of intent. We're going to go and bid 60 million for Alexandro. You know?
Even if it doesn't work, you know, we're more than anything proving a statement.
Or we're going to go and sign Felipe Luis, just a top left back.
Well, apparently there is some talks of Felipe Luis not even just being unsettled, just leaving soon.
Yeah, leaving for like a season and going back to Atletico Madrid again.
Probably, yeah. But yeah, a decent game. You know, happy for Arsenal that they finally got.
Well done with them.
Yeah. Bournemouth Everton. I feel going down Twitter during this game, just seeing all the people that were so pissed at Richarlison.
Losing their minds.
I know, for example, Choco has Richarlison in my BPL draft, and that -4 is looking really pretty, especially with the week my team had. So it's just so funny to like. First off, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna cut right to that. That's not a red card offense. I'm sorry. I get you're trying to limit that, but are you like? First off, he got baited in. Like, plain and simple, he was baited into that. But you don't give him a straight red for that. It's not like he went in, you know, both studs into the guy's legs.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. That was a horrible call, if you ask me.
I agree.
But I mean, the player ended up getting red carded himself for definitely a deserving red card. But yeah, I think Bournemouth should have been up early. Like, who was it that completely shanked? Let's see, how many... That's a solid... Yeah, no, you're spoiled for choice as to what corner to pick from, and just completely shanks it. I say definitely action-wise, it was definitely the most... From, you know, again, only going off of the highlights, because I didn't watch it live, but... Yeah, I'm watching back the Richarlison thing, like... It's not even like... My favorite is when someone gets headbutted like that, and they launch themselves onto the floor.
Yeah.
Like, head first, like he just took a machete and hit him over the head. Like, I get it as a ref. You know, you're trying to limit that type of stuff in the game. but just giving a red card isn't going to prove anything, especially when it's questionable. I mean, like, as far as the game itself, I mean, it was very second half heavy, obviously.
Yeah.
That penalty call, uh, again, one of those things where, like, I don't know what to say about that. Like,
There's been
yeah,
a lot of questionable decisions from the start of the season, to be honest.
yeah, like there's clear contact, like he hits him, but like, you know, he like pushes off with his arm, but is there enough there to like warrant a pen? It's one of those things where, again, VAR is needed to. And I get, you know, as you know, the president of the league or whatever, not wanting to have it this season, but like, that was the whole purpose of waiting until after the World Cup to make that call, whether you wanted to or not, because you wanted to see, you know, how it worked. I thought at the World Cup it didn't really impede anything, didn't hinder the World Cup in any way.
No.
And like, just like stuff like this, like the diving and the
Or good tackles being made and then penalties get given.
yeah,
a
exactly.
shot.
The one thing I will say, Ake was great to pounce on that ball the way he did off the corner kick.
Yeah.
It was a really weird game overall.
Best wishes to Michael Keane as well.
Yeah, I have.
Goal.
Oh, is that what it was? I haven't. I heard, like, I saw him getting taken off,
Yeah.
but I haven't looked into the actual foul itself.
Yeah, so he's going to be out for quite a bit, I'm guessing. I'm guessing it's not something you recover from quickly.
Yeah, and you just hate to see it.
Yeah.
We
don't want to see anyone get injured.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
Apart from the Catmull. Right. What's the next game?
The next one was Huddersfield Cardiff 0-0.
Oh Christ! Like, listen to me talking about the Newcastle Cardiff game last week. It's the exact same game. Cardiff, typical Neil Warnock kind of football, killed the game, turned to a fight in the middle of the field rather than a football game, and just awful game overall. I don't think there's too much that can be said about it, to be honest.
Yeah. Liverpool, solid goal from Salah.
Yeah.
Like I said, and then that's all I watched because YouTube boxing.
Did you see Alisson's trick against Knockout?
I did not, actually. I'm about to check the highlights to see if it's in here. Because I kind of want to watch it.
Absolutely audacious.
Watford Crystal Palace, lower scoring than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I thought that was potential game of the weekend.
Yeah, we pegged that as game of the weekend. It'll be interesting to see how Watford come. I mean, they're 3-0 on the season. Tied for. I
said they were going to get relegated.
Yeah, they're tied for first right now. Well, air quotes, tied for first. But then you come back from next, midweek. They have in 3 days they have the League Cup against Reading, and then you got Tottenham, then you got Man U, then you got Fulham, then you have Arsenal.
I was just going to say though, Watford haven't really played anyone yet.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see tomorrow because Tottenham have been decent, but they haven't been anything like. They haven't been Liverpool type dominant or Man City type dominant. They haven't been. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's. I don't know.
Like, Watford, try having Arsenal or Newcastle start and then see how they get on.
Yeah, you got it. I'm just gonna move on.
Oh my god.
Only because I'm getting yelled at via text message to hurry up and record faster. Fulham, Burnley, didn't watch it.
Bloody Mitrovic got a hat-trick, didn't he? Of course he did.
No, he didn't. He got 2 because I have him on my fantasy. It's the only reason I know.
People would tell me he got a hat-trick. Oh.
No.
2.
I mean, Sari opened it up.
Charlotte and Jean Michel. Sari.
Yeah. just looking at the stats for the game, man. 25 shots to 12, 12 on target to 2, 64 to 36 possession. Just again, it was, I hate to say two of the lower teams in the league, but dominant performance from Fulham.
And I did at least get one prediction right that Burnley would struggle this season playing in the Europa League as well as the Premier League. You see it every time a team will have a good run, get into Europa League, and then do absolute dog shit and almost get relegated because it's such a tough fixture schedule.
Yeah, like.
Burnley massively overachieved last season.
And now it's showing and it's hurting them.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to worry for Burnley a bit. Fulham, well done to them. They played well their first couple of games, and eventually now it's their sort of good style of play is showing off.
Yeah, and like
3 of their new signings getting on the score sheet as well: Schürrle, Mitrovic, and Seri.
Like yeah, they lost. This is their their first win. Yeah, because the first game was a 2-0 loss to Crystal, and then last week 3-1 loss to Tottenham. But the Tottenham game I did watch, they weren't in any way outclassed, I'd say.
No.
Obviously it took Tottenham a while to even break the defense, and then they eventually did. But I think Fulham is looking impressive. But like you said, they really haven't played anyone aside from Tottenham, which we'll see what happens. Newcastle, Chelsea.
Oh my god! Like, I could do a podcast alone, just based on this game. It'd be more of a rant, to be honest.
Probably a lot of cursing.
Yeah, like. Right, so let's talk about the lineups to begin with. So Newcastle went for a 5-4-1 formation, given debuts to a few players. Martin Dubravka started in goal. DeAndre Yedlin was back in after his injury. We had Fabian Schär, who played well for Switzerland at the World Cup, so I was really looking forward to seeing him play. It was the first time I'd seen him play for Newcastle. Federico Fernandez, who was a solid Premier League centre-back coming in from Swansea, making his first appearance as well. Kieran Clark, Paul Dummett who captained the side, which was quite an interesting one. Matt Ritchie, Ki Young making his first start. Mo Diame and Jacob Murphy, with Rondon up front making his first start as well. First half was a bit of a non-event, to be honest.
Yeah, for the last 5 minutes was any I didn't actually wake up until like the 40th. But if
nothing really happened in the first half.
Yeah, you'd admit like the last 5 minutes was basically the whole half, just back and forth, kind of.
Like Hazard had like one shot outside the box, and Dubravka had to palm it around the post. Apart from that, nothing really much happened.
I will say Chelsea's formation is interesting, at least like where they have certain players. ASP getting forced back out onto the wing, which is interesting because I thought he's been decent as I guess with Rudiger back in, so pretty solid back four, standard back four for them, back five with Kepa. But then this middle, I would probably have had it with Conte centralized. Just because.
Well, yeah, he seems to be using Conte more of an advanced role,
which is weird because I would obviously use Conte as more of a, not even a CDM, just someone who hangs back, and then you allow Kovacic and Jorginho to push up a bit. At least have them push up to halfway between midfield and Newcastle's 18. Morata didn't get a goal in the day, but he's had a good season.
Was it Kovacic's debut today? I think it was. I think it was his first appearance.
I believe so.
When I saw him on the team sheet, I was like, "Ooh, that's going to be an interesting one."
And he didn't
do anything. Like, I forgot he was playing, to be honest. The only thing he did throughout the game was get a booking.
Yeah. And then the front three. What I will say, I am actually surprised Pedro getting the start over Willian.
I
I
think
thought,
that's more to do with what was happening in the summer with Willian, with
yeah.
him wanting to leave and everything like that.
Well, that was more of because of Gonte than anything, though, because he admitted that he didn't want to be part of anything to do with Gonte anymore.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, as far as the goal, from what I saw, Hazard questionable.
It was never a penalty in a million years.
No.
Like Fabian Shaw, like if that's Sergio Ramos, Jerome Boateng, people are going to be talking about that as a world class tackle.
Yeah, of course.
And you know the penalty, the referee, who I thought was an absolute donkey all match, to be honest, it was hopeless.
Second half as well, like he just. I mean, it's one of those things. Like we've been saying it all podcast, that the lack of VAR is definitely hurting the league more than anything.
And it's like at that point, you know, we've defended them so well, we've like stifled their midfield, and then they get given a gimme into the lead,
and almost get saved.
Yeah,
but with Hazard's power,
Hazard, yeah.
Joselu's tying goal though was gorgeous.
Oh, brilliant crossing from Yedlin. Out-muscled Giroud. Like the Chelsea players were complaining they should have had a free kick. Like minutes after they got a penalty, which they knew was never a penalty in a million years.
Which, as a neutral, I would say there was something in there, but at the same time, if you're gonna have that leeway to give that penalty, the same way you need to give the leeway to let that play develop. If it's not blatantly obvious that he elbowed him in the face, I say it was a good no call. Especially you can't be you just gifted them that penalty, like you said, and I don't know. Like Yedlin, I feel sorry for with that own goal.
I was so sorry for him, honestly.
Like you literally saw him just he just collapsed in agony.
Yeah, he'd had a really good game as well. I felt really bad for him. It's one of these things where it happens. He's a good player though, and he'll move on from it.
Yeah, sure. Definitely. It's definitely one of those things that you hate to see, especially considering what your next 2 weeks, well, not counting Nottingham Forest, your next 2 league matchups are.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let me recorrect that statement. Your next league matchup, because you never know what Arsenal you're going to get at this point.
Yeah, like when I saw Joselu coming on in top time, I was like, why? I thought Rondon was doing alright.
And then, 10 minutes later? How did you feel about that?
And I was losing me shit. I was like, Joselu, R9 version 2. And then, yeah, I was seriously salty after that game. I wanted bad things to happen to all the Chelsea players.
Yeah, you hate to see, especially when Newcastle put on a performance like they did, but.
And then the media, the stick that Rafa was getting because of the system we were playing, like people saying, "Oh, he should have attacked Chelsea," is like what, and lost 5-6-0 like Huddersfield did.
Yeah, no. Moving on, Man U, Tottenham. Honestly, 1-1. I will be completely honest, 1-1. I don't see much happening in this game.
The thing is, Man U have been poor and have won a game and lost a game.
Yeah.
Tottenham have been poor and have won their games. So,
but
if I had to choose a winner, I'd go Spurs.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Like,
but
I don't see United walking away with 3 points tomorrow. I'm saying 1 point just because I feel like,
I think because I have Mourinho set up.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, I was just gonna say, Tottenham walked away with, 6 points out of 6 so far. I was gonna say because of their schedule, and then I remembered who Man U lost to last week. Never mind. Moving on from that. Yeah, Definitely, if I have to pick a winner, I'm obviously going to give it to Tottenham, even though I'm a Man U fan. They're playing like crap.
Yeah.
But at the
The
same
thing
time,
is, though, if Mourinho went,
Mhm.
who would you want to replace him?
exactly.
You know?
Well, apparently, Zidane said he would want to go to Man U. But is that
Like,
something that's going to happen mid-season? I don't think so. I'm sure Zidane's probably
but you
enjoying
look at what
his.
Zidane was doing in the league with Real Madrid. They weren't pulling up trees.
Yeah.
Like, yes, he won the Champions League consecutively.
Well, Ronaldo
But
won the Champions League consecutively.
yeah, but in terms of league form, they weren't doing great.
That's also true.
So I think Man U got to be careful as to what they want. Like,
Yeah, I'm
bring
like I
Moisey
said.
back. That's what I said. Bring Moisey back. All's forgiven.
Like I said, I'm thinking 1-1. If we're talking an Spurs win, like a 2-1, 3-2, something like that. If Man U actually wake up momentarily.
Yeah.
I will say whatever happens. Oh wait, no, I was looking at 2 weeks from now, because they have Watford next week, which again,
You wouldn't want to play them the way they're playing at the minute.
no, the way they're playing, I wouldn't want to play them, especially.
No, is it Ricardo Pereira?
Yes.
Yeah, he's been playing really well for Watford.
No, Roberto Pereira.
Roberto Pereira.
Yeah,
That's it. Yeah.
I'm thinking of the right back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he have him on my fantasy team as well. My team did very good this week. Let me tell you.
I had 3 Newcastle players in my fantasy league team.
I had, it was middle of the week switches because I had started the season with the attacking force of Iheanacho, Aubameyang, and so not Rashford. Was it Rashford? I think it was Rashford. Either way, completely horrible. Bring in Mitrovic, bangs 2 for me. Bring on Pereira, scores a goal for me. Alonso.
I'm not using the Premier League one though. I'm using one called the Sun Dream Team over here.
Oh, okay. I will say this: Maguire, like we did a draft style for mine. Every whatever. How Maguire lasted. That's actually something I meant to say during when we were talking about the Leicester game. He's proving why Leicester didn't want to get rid of him, and he's proving he's just continuing his form from the World Cup. Like I'm pretty sure his goal took like a slight deflection, but fucking what a banger from a center back.
He's absolutely incredible.
Like you don't have strikers out here scoring goals like that.
Yeah.
Like that was a laser.
On a FIFA standpoint, building that first Premier League team.
Mm-hmm.
Not a bad show.
Yeah, you're gonna see a lot of Maguire's, especially because he's not.
Right, the heading's good on FIFA 19.
What's up, Bulldog? How are you?
Damon said pieces.
Yeah, I don't, especially because he is a Leicester player. His price is gonna be like, but once that like initial like boom of the market happens, he's gonna be like 1,200 coins.
Yeah. Once everyone gets their FIFA points and starts spamming opening packs.
I will not spend money on FIFA. I will not spend money on FIFA.
Nope,
I will not spend money on FIFA.
I probably will. I'll be like, oh, team of the week. Oh, there's like an informed John Joe Shelby getting him.
Nope, I'm not doing it.
Or like, that Prime Alan Shearer just came out. I need him.
I'm going to behave. I'm going to behave for the stream, for the podcast, to make it interesting when we talk about what teams we're using. I refuse.
Well, we're both running Road to Glories, so it'll be interesting to see a sort of comparison as to how our teams are.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, as far as that's all the games for the week, I believe you have a little game you want to do before we end up.
Yeah. So
gotta help me.
So I'll give you first clue.
Mm-hmm.
He's 6'2" and he's a striker.
Arnautovic.
No.
Fuck. Had to get it out of the way.
23 years old.
Okay.
He, on FIFA 17, had a team of the season. Wait, what?
Yeah, right there.
Oh, everything on my computer just died.
Oh, that's
Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Right.
6'2",
His previous
23.
clubs:
Okay.
Telepatik,
Fucking-
Partizan Belgrade, Anderlecht, and if I give you his second most recent club, you'll get it easily. So I'm not going to give you that yet.
I mean, let's remember who forgot who won Golden Boot at the World Cup last week.
He has represented his country at under 19, under 21, and national team level.
2 striker, 23.
He is Serbian.
Oh, what the fuck is his name? What the fuck is his name? God damn it. I'm like, I have his face, like, right there. Fuck.
Come on.
God damn it. I'm banning this from the podcast from now on. You make me look like shit.
He was at the World Cup.
Yeah, I got that.
He won the championship 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, see, that's lost on me. The championship. I don't follow that as much as I probably should. Fuck. I'm gonna give you the hardest question. Oh my. Watch next week. I'm gonna come with the heat. Yeah, I don't know.
In August 2017, he was suspended for elbowing Manuel Lanzini in the face in a 3-0 win for the team he was playing at the time.
Oh my god, who was that? I remember that. Who was that? Anybody in chat want to slip me an answer?
He also joined his current club this summer for a deal worth 22 million, rising to 27 million.
I'm just gonna rip the band. I have no idea. I'll be honest. I'm gonna hear the name.
His recent 2 clubs are Newcastle and Fulham.
Oh, Mitrovic.
There you go.
I said once I hear the yeah. See, I wouldn't have got it with
Mitrovic.
Newcastle. I with the I'm sorry. The Newcastle thing. The Fulham I definitely would have got with, but I told you I see him, and I just
You see a red card.
yeah, pretty much. Oh God. Well, that's another podcast down. Still no FIFA. Jesus.
Still no FIFA.
I've
even been playing PES.
How's that been?
Ugh. God.
You know what? I will say this. PES serves a purpose, and a lot of I've never
comes out a month before FIFA, so
no, not even that. Back like what 7 years ago when FIFA wasn't all there and PES was like kind of a thing, it gave FIFA a reason to try, and like FIFA was still trying because this was still before FIFA was the game as far as football was concerned,
Yeah.
So like with PES like right behind them, it actually gave FIFA a reason to push out good games and good updates. Now they're just like, we don't give a shit. People are buying the games anyway. We're making billions of dollars a year off foot. Oh well.
Start playing Football Manager as well. That was more enjoyable than PES.
I saw you playing that earlier. I've been wanting to, but
oh, it's so good.
I've seen some people play it on Twitch. It definitely looks interesting. Something I would definitely want to try it out.
It has the fact that you can actually manage your club and look into stats that career mode just doesn't have.
Yeah, I'll
And
be.
you can play it against people online as well, which is quite cool. Managing the same league and go up against each other, so that's quite cool.
Yeah, I definitely want to see some of those kind of things updated, just because, especially more. When is it, like January ish? Actually, no, like December ish, before Team of the Year comes out. It's it's fun to try out like the career mode stuff like that, just 'cause the game just got kind of dies a little. But then again, that was before I ever did a Road to Glory, so we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's us done for the day. Any last screams you want to get out for?
Like said last week, I'll say it again. Can Newcastle please win a game?
Who knows? Maybe we'll have a Wolves v2 next week.
Mm.
I my heart honestly goes out for you because I've never seen a team with such a hard schedule.
And the fact we spent next to nothing in the window as well.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right. Well,
yeah.
appreciate everyone tuning in. Again, appreciate you having you on. And we'll see you guys next week.
See you.
Peace.